Today on GBA-Z, we're going to check out the way-forward technologies developed in Universal Interactive published game The Scorpion King: Sword of Osiris. Released in 2002, The Scorpion King: Sword of Osiris serves as a sequel to the movie The Scorpion King. It was the third movie to be released in the Mummy series that, at the time, included 1999's The Mummy and 2001's The Mummy Returns. The movie itself acts as a prequel to the originals, taking place 5,000 years before the events of the films. The Scorpion King received 4 direct-to-video prequels and sequels between 2008 and 2018, including Rise of a Warrior, Battle for Redemption, Quest for Power, and Book of Souls. The story of the game goes like this. Cassandra, who is Matthias' queen, who we will just refer to as the Rock from now on, goes to a temple because she thinks that the Rock is in trouble. Turns out that she was misled by the ruthless sorcerer Menthu to come to the temple to be taken prisoner. Cassandra is the only one who can interpret the markings on Lady Isis's body to reveal the location of the Scorpion Stone that will allow them to rule with unequaled power. The Rock is then led to the same temple by Cassandra, who can communicate with him telepathically. She tells him that Menthu is using her to find the Scorpion Stone, and when he does, he will unleash a terrible power. Cassandra then tells the Rock that he will need more than physical power to defeat Menthu, and that it will only be possible using the Sword of Osiris. She then ends the conversation saying that her future and the fate of the world lies with him. Sword of Osiris takes you through 18 levels across 6 stages, each ending with a boss fight. Most of the levels are side-scrolling and platforming, with the occasional vertically scrolling level thrown in. You can take multiple hits from enemies, but there are certain level hazards like quicksand, water, spikes, and bottomless pits that kill you instantly. This is another game without a save feature, so you'll be given a password after defeating each boss to continue from. At any time you can choose between 2 weapons on the fly. There's a broadsword, which is stronger and slower, or double curved blades, which are faster but deal less damage. When charged, both rotate for a continuous attack. However, you must be standing completely still to do so. The broadsword also has a thrust attack, and the curved blades can be thrown forwards, up, or backwards. Everything in Osiris looks great. The characters, bosses, enemies, environments, and backgrounds are very well done. Character animations are smooth and on a whole different level than many Game Boy Advance games of the time. Some animations that really stand out are climbing up a rope, jumping off a wall, running up a hill, and of course completing a level. Little things like fires burning and gold shimmering in the background really makes them feel much more dynamic. Some levels employ weather effects in them too, like wind and rain. As for the controls, the B button attacks, the A button jumps, the L button switches your weapon, and the R button makes you walk. Holding B will charge your weapon to either throw or thrust in a direction. Press up near a rope to hold onto it, press down in the air for a downward attack, hold B near certain ceilings to swing across them, and jump towards a wall for a wall jump. There are a few times where you'll do one of the actions and it just won't work, but other than that, everything controls quite well. Gold scorpions are all over the place throughout the levels. Collect 100 of them and you'll get an extra life. Also, placed periodically in the levels are yellow and green orbs. Break them for a health refill. Yellow orbs completely fill your health, while green ones only fill it up halfway. Some enemies leave behind gems when killed. These gems not only increase your attack power, but they also grant you special abilities like shooting fire. You can stack up to 4 of them for maximum upgrades, but every time you get hit, you lose one. In order to beat the game, you're going to have to acquire some things on your travels. The Hero's Gauntlet, 4 knuckle slots and 6 runes of Osiris for the Hero's Gauntlet, and the Sword of Osiris. The Gauntlet, knuckle slots, and sword are received automatically by progressing through the game. For the runes, however, somewhere in each stage there's a hidden or less accessible area with a Scorpion Shrine. The shrine will take you to a secret level, and once you get through it, you'll receive one of 6 runes. All 6 are required to beat the game, so if you get to the very end without all of them, well, guess what? The credits roll and you don't get to fight the final boss. The bosses aren't very difficult, but they're not going to be taken out in 2 hits either. The big thing is being able to get out of the way of their attack and then go in and strike when they're vulnerable. The Oasis boss was my favorite, the Aqueduct boss is the hardest, and the Mountain boss is the easiest. After dodging his flying attacks, he can be taken out very quickly using only the charged broadsword attack. I want to take a minute just to say how amazing the final boss of this game looks. The size and design are done so well. The scorpion body, legs, and tail are creepy, and if they turn the twisted dial up to 11, it could be a boss in Bloodborne. First time I saw her, I was really impressed. Unfortunately, the battle is slow and boring, but I can't stress enough just how great she looks. Do I like this game? I do. Do I love it? I'm so close to saying yes to this. So many things work really well here, but it's another one that could use half a dozen adjustments to make a good game a lot better. First of all, the knockback in this game is absurd. It's absurd! Considering some of the levels are platforming above a bottomless pit or trying to outrun flooding water means that if any enemy or object even touches you, then you have a high chance of instant death. You can't thrust or throw your weapons without standing completely still, which slows the pace of the game down considerably. And while we're on the subject of weapons, why can't I move at all after throwing them? A roll would be nice for quickly getting through tight areas. Having to duck walk is slow, and a roll would just be something to keep the momentum of the game going. I've mentioned before that all the buttons on the Game Boy Advance are prime real estate, so assigning a useless feature like walking to one instead of something useful like charging the weapon is a wasted opportunity. Being able to look above and below you would be very helpful for some of the platform levels. At points you'll find yourself jumping directly to your death because you can't see what's around. Lastly, you can't attack while climbing or swinging. Although not perfect, Sword of Osiris is a game that can initially be frustrating, but once you get the hang of everything, you'll be flying right through it. It doesn't feel like it was reskinned at the last minute, but rather planned to use its license from the beginning. And if you really love the game, you're given the opportunity to play through it a second time as Cassandra after you initially finish it. It's an above average game based on a below average movie. So those are my thoughts on the Scorpion King Sword of Osiris. What are yours? What GBA game would you like to see reviewed? Next episode is about Extreme Ghostbusters. Stay nerdy. I'm out.
Getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on.
I got a raging nerd on.